Okay, so on Friday we took that little fractions review quiz, and I went ahead and graded those and gathered all the data from them, and the things that we're struggling most with are ordering fractions and adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So we're just going to title this Fractions Extra Practice, because I want us to, you know, be good with fractions before we move on to our next unit in the beginning of the 6 weeks. Okay? So fractions extra practice. So I would like for you to go ahead and divide your page into half like this. And then let's go ahead and do fourths. So half like this as well. Okay, so we're going to start with 2 ordering on the top, and then we'll do 2 adding and subtracting mixed numbers on the bottom. So ordering fractions. What does order mean? Order means I'm going to put them in order, right? So I'm going to put them in order from least to greatest or greatest to least according to their value. So it's going to, if it's least to greatest, I'm going to start with the smallest fraction, and then my fractions are going to get bigger as I'm listing them. If I'm going greatest to least, I'm going to start with the biggest fraction, and they're going to get smaller as I'm listing them. All right, so if I've got 3/4, 7/8, and 8/12, okay? If I've got 3/4, 7/8, and 8/12, and I want to order those from greatest to least, well, what is my first step going to have to be? Remember, whenever I'm ordering, I need all of my denominators to be the same. I need them to be the same. That's really important because, like we talked about with comparing fractions, if my denominators are the same, then I can just look at the numerators in order to compare them or to order them. So I'm going to list out the multiples for 4, 8, and 12. Okay? 4, 8, and 12. Let's count by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. That should be far enough. And remember, you never really know how far you're going to need to go, right? It's going to be, it's just going to depend, because if you get down here and you've listed out your multiples and you don't see any that you have in common, well, all that means you're just going to have to extend your list a little bit. Okay? Let's count by 8s. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. And let's count by 12s. 12, 24, 36, 48. That should be far enough. Okay, so a mistake that I saw that a lot of you were making, here's what you're doing. You were either picking a number too big, or you weren't finding a common denominator and you were just not doing this step at all, which this step is important, because no matter what these denominators are, because when these denominators start getting bigger, it's going to be harder for you to, you know, order them in your head. Because right now, I mean, you may be able to order these in your head right now. I mean, I think I maybe could, but I'm not going to risk it, because if I do this, it will work every single time. Okay? So now what I need to do is I need to get my fractions that I started with lined up like this. Okay, and then I need to find my what? What is that term called? My smallest one they all have. So what is that? Not greatest common factor. Don't say that. It is the least common multiple, right? LCM. Okay, so I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to go through, and I'm going to see if, do all of them have 4? No. Do all of them have 8? Well, 2 have 8, but I need all 3 to have 8. So no. Do they all have 12? No. Do they all have 16? No. Do they all have 20? No. So that means that I need to extend my list a little further, right? Just a little bit. Let's try extending it to 24. 24. Do they all have 24? Yes, they do. So I'm going to go ahead and circle 24 in all 3. Okay? So now a lot of you are getting stuck at this part. Don't get stuck. all you need to do is say, okay, I need all of these denominators to become 24. And let me explain why this is possible, because I know that this is the common denominator, that all of these I can multiply 4 times something and get 24, I can multiply 8 times something and get 24, and I can multiply 12 times something and get 24. And the reason I know that is because multiplication has to do with the multiples, right? 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 24. So if you can count by 4s and get to it, then it can be multiplied by 4 in order to get to that number, okay? So 4 times something equals 24. What was it? 6. So in order for these two fractions to be equivalent, which I need them to be, this has to be a 6 as well, because I need to multiply times a fraction equal to 1 whole. So 3 times 6 is 18. So 18 24ths is equal to 3/4. Okay, 8 times what equals 24? 1, 2, 3. 3. So what does this have to be? A 3. What's 7 times 3? 21. Okay. So 21 24ths is equal to 7/8 down here. 12 times something equals 24. 1, 2. So 8 times 2 is 16. Now all my denominators are the same, and all I have to do is look at the numerators. So I'm going greatest to least, so my greatest numerator is 21. So it's going to be 21 24ths is greater than 18 24ths is greater than 16 24ths. Right? Okay? So now I'm not done. I'm not done because a lot of you stopped here. Okay? And you almost had it because you did all the right things, but guess what? They didn't ask me to order these fractions. They asked me to order these fractions. So all I'm going to do, directly underneath, I'm going to say what fraction was equal to 21 24ths. What was it? 7/8 was equal to that. 7/8, and I'm just going to bring my comparison symbol down the same way, is greater than, what fraction was equal to 18 24ths? Which one? 3/4 is greater than, which fraction was equal to 16 24ths? 8/12. This is my final answer. That is it right there. Okay? So I would like for, I mean, you're going to have one on your quiz. So we're actually just going to go ahead and do one mixed number one, and you can do two of your example problems in these two boxes. But we're just going to do an example mixed number one because I don't want this video to run too long. So let's say that I've got, because I think the one where you're struggling the most is subtraction. So let's do 4 and 2/6 minus 2 and 5/6. Okay? This is the hardest you're going to have. And what I mean by that is, A, it's subtraction. Subtraction is always going to be harder than addition. B, you're taking a smaller part and you're subtracting a bigger part. So if you can get this kind of problem down, you can do any adding and subtracting mixed numbers. Okay? But I want to clarify some things that I saw on your quizzes, okay? So the first thing I do is what? I need to convert them to, these two mixed numbers to improper fractions, right? So if I've got 4 and 2/6, I'm going to multiply the whole number times the denominator, okay? 4 times 6 is 24. And then that answer I'm going to add to the numerator, plus 2. Okay, and that equals 26. My denominator always stays the same, so what's it going to be? 6. So 26/6 is equal to 4 and 2/6. That's really important for you to grasp and understand, okay? Is that a little blurry? Let's fix it. Okay, that's good enough. So now let's do, the other one. So we've got 2 and 5/6. So I'm going to need to multiply the whole number, which is 2, times the denominator, which is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. And then I need to add that answer to my numerator, plus 5. What's 12 plus 5? 17. My denominator always stays the same, so it needs to be 6. So 17/6 is equal to 2 and 5/6, right? Okay. So now I need to use these and follow the operation that was given. Okay, so a lot of you were thinking, first of all, one thing that I saw was you thought that because this was subtracting, you subtracted here, 24 minus 2 or 12 minus 5. That's not correct. You're always going to be adding your product to the numerator, your product to the numerator. You're always going to be adding in that part. What you do with your improper fractions is determined by the operation that they give you in the problem. Okay, so now we've got 26/6 minus 17/6. Well, I don't know about you, but I probably need to work out 26 minus 17 down here. So I'm going to do 26 minus 17. What's 6 minus 7? Can't do it. Borrow from the 2. 2 becomes a 1. 6 becomes a 16. So just a little extra thing in here. A lot of you, a thing that I'm seeing, especially when this is a 1 right here in this place, you're making this 10 always, and it's not true. It's going to be 10 plus whatever was already in the 1's place. Just a little tidbit for you. So 16 minus 7 is 9. All right, so this is going to be 26 minus 17 is 9. What happens to this denominator? Are we rookies or are we Aggies? We are Aggies, so this is going to be 6. Okay, so now I've got 9/6. I can't just put 9/6 up here, and that's not what they want. They want a mixed number like they gave me, right? They're always going to want you to give them what they gave you. So now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do 9 divided by 6. How many groups of 6 can I get out of 9? Uno, or 1, okay? And then I'm going to multiply 6 times 1 equals 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. Okay, I have nothing to bring down, so I'm done. So let's look at the components that I have. So I've got a number up top, which would be the answer to my division problem. I've got the remainder, and I've got the divisor. Those are my 3 parts that I'm working with here. Your answer is always going to be the whole number, like we said in our journal entry for this. So the whole number is going to be 1. Well, I'm going to give you a little hint. Denominator is going to be the same, so that eliminates this right here. Your divisor will always be the denominator. So what's left? This lonely little 3 down here. 1 and 3/6. Okay. Now, this is important because a lot of the time, and I think you guys noticed this on your quiz that I gave you last week for adding and subtracting mixed numbers, they're not going to give you 1 and 3/6 in your answer. That's not what they're going to give you. They're going to give you the simplified version of that. Well, what is 3/6 equal to? It's simplified. Think about it. 3 is what of 6? 6 divided by what equals 3? 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So 3 times 2 equals 6, which means that this fraction right here is equal to 1/2, guys. So it would be 1 1/2 would be your final answer, because 3 is half of 6, so that's how you know it's equal to 1/2. So this right here would be your final answer. All right, I hope this helps. We are going to move on tomorrow. All right.